Okay. So we're going to be talking about one of my one-on-one clients, Deandra. So thank you, Deandra, for allowing us to share your diet protocol and exactly what we're doing to help you achieve your weight loss goal. So starting at the beginning, and you guys, when I do these episodes, we talk about, like, for instance, we're going to talk about Deandra, where she was currently when we started working together. So how much she weighed, what her goal is, and then we're going to break down exactly step by step what we're doing in order to help her achieve that goal. So I hope it's going to be helpful to you. I know that whether or not, if you have type 1 diabetes, you're going to relate pretty hard to what we are talking about, because when it comes to fitness, as you know, like, some things can be a little bit more challenging just because you're also managing your blood sugars, but you're going to really take away something from what Deandra is doing. If your goal is fat loss specifically, that will help you achieve your weight loss goal. So I know that everyone is completely different. Your lifestyle is different. Your goals are different. You are affected differently by different macronutrients. Fat, protein, carbs affect your blood sugar probably slightly differently. That's fine, but we're going to break down exactly what we're doing, and I guarantee that you will be able to take something away from this episode that's going to just help you have the clarity in moving forward with your own goals. So that's the whole point of these episodes. And if you do enjoy this episode, if it's helpful, please don't forget to write a review, leave a comment, rate and review this podcast, because that helps. That's one way that helps expand the reach of this podcast and allow it to reach more people, which is the whole point. We want to help each other. So for starters, so Deandra, when we started working together, her current weight was 130 pounds. And her goal weight is 120 pounds. So her goal is to lose 10 pounds. And she eats pretty healthy. She doesn't use a food scale. And she has used MyFitnessPal before. So if you don't know what MyFitnessPal is, it's basically just an app you can download on your phone for free. There's a paid version, but the free version, like, you don't need to pay for it. You can just use the free one. It's an app on your phone that allows you to track your food intake every single day, and it's really great. I use it when I'm trying to achieve my goals physically, because that way you just know exactly, like, what you're fueling your body with, the macronutrients. I know some apps you can track your micronutrients and how many calories you're consuming, because that's a big part of achieving your goals. So tracking your food does help if you're the kind of person who is cool with tracking things, because I know you're already tracking a million other things, but tracking your food is super important. It's just an easy way to, know exactly what you're eating. So Deandra has used MyFitnessPal before, but not diligently. And there's one other thing I was going to say about MyFitnessPal, but yeah, it's basically just an app to track. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I also use it for, like, even if I'm not tracking my food, like when I'm maintaining my weight, I don't really diligently track my food intake. Like, I'm not meticulous about every single thing that I'm eating, but I still use MyFitnessPal, because there's a cute, you can't see it. I wish you could. There's a little yellow bird in front of me. You might be able to hear his song though. Anyways, yeah, so I will still use it, because that way, if I don't really know exactly how much fiber is in something that I'm eating or whatever, like, it's just an easy way. I can scan the package, or I can input the food into MyFitnessPal if it's something that maybe I don't usually eat, and then I'll go into the app and I'll look at the nutritional value, and I can actually see how much fiber is in the food. So I'll subtract the fiber from the carb, which allows me to dose more accurately for my meal. So I still use MyFitnessPal, but so for blood sugar management, it can be helpful as well. And I don't know if there's other apps just specifically for BG management, but if you're tracking your food for weight loss, then MyFitnessPal is fine, right? But someone should invent an app for type 1s and fitness. And okay, so back to Deandra. So her workouts when we first started working together, she's mostly doing cardio, and she was doing an at-home routine and lifting some weights, mostly body weight, and then she was also doing some Pilates and adding in a workout video every now and then, and she was doing lots of oh my god. I don't know. I was trying to mesh walking and jogging. That reminds me of, what is that movie? Anchorman. Didn't he say yogging? Like, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, walking and jogging daily. She does that. And so her workouts, right, like when we first started working together, were kind of like a little bit of everything, but very largely cardiovascular focused. Dieting history, she goes through periods, or she did go through periods where she would track her food intake and her kcals, her calories, her daily caloric intake. And she also went through periods where she would restrict foods or eliminate, like, quote unquote bad foods. If you're listening to this on audio, that I'm doing this in quotations, quote unquote bad foods like breads and carbs, etc. But when she didn't see results, she would give up. And she feels like she would really go hard in the beginning of every diet she tried or everything she was doing. If she was like, okay, I'm going to give up bread for a bit, she would go hard on that. And then she would quit and kind of like lose self-control, and kind of go off the deep end. Like she said she was very self-controlled, but then as soon as she wasn't seeing results, then she'd kind of lose control, if that makes sense. And I can totally relate to that. But then, yeah, she would go off the deep end and then just feel like shit about herself because she felt like she was just spinning her wheels and not getting anywhere. And her biggest challenge is constantly, I don't know if I should be talking, this is like, we've been working together for a few weeks, but this was in the past. So her biggest struggle when we started working together was constantly just spinning her wheels and feeling like she's putting in work, but getting minimal results for the amount of effort that she's putting in. And so that alone just was the one thing that would make her lose motivation and give up constantly. And just the other thing too was low blood sugar, because she would have lows during her workouts or her exercise routine. And then it was this like constant battle where she would, she'd be putting in the work, but then she would just end up feeling like shit about herself and being like, my workout, it has gone to complete waste because I'm now eating all of these calories, treating low blood sugar, when like the whole point is to lose weight and be fit. And now I'm just shoving all this shit in my mouth. So I don't know if you can relate to that. I sure can. Deandra's lifestyle, very sedentary. So she works from home. She's on her laptop most of the day. And sleep-wise, she usually gets about 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night, and she feels very rested. That is great. And she really wants to get her blood sugars in check. She just got a Dexcom, so she's really interested and really wants to, just get used to that and monitor her sugars, feel healthy, and she really just wants to be fit and feel confident in her skin and look good naked. I mean, that's something like, that's what I wanted for so long too. It's like, you want to look good naked, but it's not something that people really say. But behind everything, like, she just wants to feel confident and comfortable in her body. And her main stressor right now is, number one, is her blood sugar management, hence why she finally caved and got a Dexcom, and just her overall fitness and feeling fat and unhappy with how she looks physically. And she feels like that alone it's just started to kind of affect her personal life and her intimate relationships. So she really just wants to, feel good about herself and feel good in her body and have that confidence. So that's all great. And I should just say, before we dive into what we are doing, number one, it's important, and I've probably said this before, but it's important that you are taking it's not just your goals right now. Sorry, that was a FaceTime, but I will call him back. It's not just about your goals right now. It's also looking at your past and, looking at the last maybe even up to like 6 years. Like, what have you been doing? What has been going on? Because all of your past history, like your past dieting history, will affect your current goals and where you are right now. And just to put that into context, like, for the longest time, I was yo-yo dieting for years and years, and like could have been like a good 10 years, and I got into some really bad habits, and I would like starve myself, and just it wasn't healthy. And so I had to take that all into account when it came to what I was currently doing, because if you go into a diet where you're like, all right, I'm going to start eating in a deficit, but I've already been eating in a deficit, but I'm not losing weight, and it's been years and years, and you want to look and be like, okay, have you been eating in a deficit? Because a calorie deficit is how you lose weight. Then, and you're like, yes, like you've been tracking everything, you've been like really diligent, for sure. Then you need to take that time to rebuild your metabolism. And so in Deandra's case, this isn't an issue. Like, her metabolism's fine. She's likely just been over consuming in the things that she is eating because she hadn't really been diligently tracking her food or using a food scale. But that's just one reason why your past dieting history is so important to take into account, like right from the get-go, especially when it comes to your long-term goals. And you want to look at your lifestyle too, and just look at your lifestyle habits, your sleep, your stress, because all of those things affect your overall results when your goal is to lose weight, even if it isn't to lose weight, but we're talking about weight loss today. So you want to take all of that kind of stuff into account, because there can be certain things that you can tweak in your lifestyle that will help you just kind of kickstart that progress even more. And we're also individual, and so our lifestyles are obviously going to look a lot different. So you really want to kind of dive a little bit deeper than just the surface stuff when you are setting up your own protocol for fat loss. So those are just some things to take into account. And I just wanted to say that in case you're like, why do these things matter? So that being said, now let's just talk about first her diet. So this is what we're doing. This is what we have been doing. I'm just going to explain like what we started her off at, because it has been a couple of weeks, but this is what we started off based on all of this information that we know about Deandra. So we really started, we're like, all right, we're going to do a 12-week timeline. Like, we're going to just make a commitment, and it's going to be 12 weeks. And we're going to just kind of break down this goal of losing 10 pounds, but we're going to break it down by the weeks, because we want to just stay motivated. And this allows us to kind of just look at the weeks week by week and be like, okay, for the next 12 weeks, this is what we're doing. This is the goal. Let's do it, And because so often, I've done this in the past too, but it's like so often when you don't see results in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, even at like 8 weeks, you're like, why do I look the same, right? It takes time. It takes time and consistent effort. So just setting that goal right off the bat and being like, okay, we're committed to this together for 12 weeks. Let's do this. So that's what we did. And then we're using a food scale. So a food scale is really important. It's just going to help with Deandra's accuracy when she's tracking her food intake on MyFitnessPal. It's going to help her accuracy when she's doing that. And the better your accuracy is, the better your results are. And a food scale is also going to help her keep her blood sugars a lot more stable. So food scale, started doing that. Tracking calories and macros is what we are doing, and that means that we're not eliminating or restricting any foods, which is so important to really have a flexible approach with what we're doing. And I will say that at the beginning, Deandra was like, she's a little concerned about like how high we set her macros originally for fat loss. She's like, I don't know. Cause in the past, when she did dabble with MyFitnessPal, she was always trying to hit like the numbers that the apps has set automatically. But you always want to lose, when your goal is fat loss, you always want to be able to lose fat eating as many calories as possible, and that sometimes is a lot more food than you originally feel comfortable with. But she agreed to it. She's been doing it. And she's been dropping weight, so it's really cool to see. And yeah, because that just is one thing alone that will help keep your metabolism strong. So she's been tracking her calories and macros versus like eliminating foods has really been helpful for her, because she doesn't feel restricted in what she's eating. She can still enjoy her life, so that's super important. And mind you, tracking macros is not for everyone. There's so many other ways to do it as well. So I just want to say that right now as well. Like if you're listening to this right now and you're like, yeah, I just don't want to keep track of any more things, then don't worry. There's another way that you can do it. There's no one size fits all approach. So I just wanted to say that too. And then what we have been doing too is like, we're having weekly chats on the phone every single day. We're reviewing her progress. So she's tracking her food intake, her body weight, and that just having those chats every week to go over and make adjustments and like see, okay, is there anything that you are enjoying or not enjoying, and just seeing where we can tweak things as we go. It helps her stay motivated, and it just helps keep her accountable, which some people need more than others. It's such a personal thing, right? But it's really helped Deandra. So that is all that matters in this case. And just the other thing is, So for her low blood sugar, that was an issue at the beginning, but now that she has a Dexcom, and you can do this without a CGM, but having a Dexcom, she started looking at her weekly trends, and that has helped her to spot low patterns, and just it's helped being more mindful. Sorry, I'm just reading her log. Okay, yeah. So she started looking at her trends, spotting patterns when she's going low. Is it before her workout, like mid-workout, and then kind of seeing like what she was doing that day, and really being mindful of her insulin on board. And that has really, really, really made such a difference with just nipping those low blood sugars in the butt before they even happen. Because so often, if you're not mindful about it, and I even do this to this day, it's especially hard being on injections now, but just overlapping doses and then ending up with a low blood sugar like right when you start working out. And when you are doing a lot of low intensity steady state cardio, it can actually lower your blood sugar a lot more. That's something that you might find. So if you are experiencing a lot of lows like Deandra, just really kind of honing in and saying, all right, how much insulin do I have on board before this workout? And really taking that into account can help a ton. It has definitely helped her a ton. And in terms of food, so the other thing that she's been doing, just in case she has a low blood sugar, she's been inputting 100 to 200 calories. Like in the morning, first thing when she wakes up, she'll input these ahead of time just in case she has low blood sugar. And then at the end of the day, she will delete them. So then she just has more food to eat. So like if she needs to hit her protein at the end of the day, she'll like have a protein shake, or she'll eat a little bit more food for dinner and then just save a few calories in the evening in case she needs them, depending on what her workouts look like. But just saving those calories ahead of time or inputting them into MyFitnessPal can really help you. And I can't even talk right now. It's helped her just stay within the amount of calories that her body needs every single day in order to achieve her goal without going over because you had this sudden low blood sugar that you had to treat, because that can always be super frustrating. And we've also tweaked her workout, so she's doing a lot less cardio And she was a little bit hesitant of this at first because she was so used to like doing some cardio every single day. But she wasn't doing cardio because she loved doing cardio. She was doing it because she felt like it was going to help her lose weight and achieve her fat loss goal. And so there's a bit of a difference there. Like obviously if you're someone who needs that physical activity every single day, there's something that, we can like work into your program. But in Deandra's case, like she doesn't love cardio, but she was basically forcing herself to do it every day. And so she was starting to feel, and she didn't really realize this until she kind of took a break, but she started to feel her body was just a little bit beat up. Like her legs were a little bit sore. And then we actually took a couple of weeks off of doing cardio before we started slowly adding it back into her routine, just to allow her body to get that proper rest and recovery, which will help her moving forward and achieve her goals. And then in terms of her workouts too, she's working out 3 days a week, and she's doing a 3-day full body workout, and she's doing it from home. So we kind of like designed it so she's using whatever she has at home to lift with. And then that has helped a lot. And it's weird because when quarantine first started, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not gonna be able to go to the gym. But you can get in a really solid workout from home. And as like doing the workout that we've designed for Deandra, where she's doing a full body workout 3 days a week, it allows her to hit each muscle group 2 times per week, which is going to be super important for just achieving her goals in the end. So that's super exciting. And then that's really the basis of what we've been doing. And with these small changes and her just being so much mindful of what she's eating, what she's putting into her body, has really helped. And she's started, I think it is, so she's been dropping about a pound a week since we've started. And that's mostly just being really, really conscious of her food intake alone. So that's super important and super exciting. So we're off on a good start. And the scale is, obviously I've said this before, but it's a tool. It should only be used as a tool. It's nothing more than that. So it's hard not to, but you don't want to get so wrapped up mentally in the number that you see on the scale. But it's a tool that helps guide your progress as you're losing weight, because everything that you're consuming, will affect the scale, and it's normal for the scale to fluctuate on a daily basis. But when you're monitoring your food intake and your body weight, you just get a really good idea of like how your body is responding to the food that you're consuming. And so, just because Deandra has been consistently dropping weight, we know that we're on the right track just based on everything that we're doing. So it's super exciting. And I hope that everything we covered in this episode today, I hope that you were able to take something away from it that's going to help you achieve your goals and lose fat with type 1. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm here. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.